jumps sideways into her, takes her arms out, knocks Caitlyn on the ground, and then stops because she knows she's fouled, and the referees are like,
what unfolds when referees ignore blatant violence unfolding in plain sight on the court? You don't need to imagine it. Just watch what happened to Caitlyn Clark. She took a hard shot to the head. And the refs. They stood still, paralyzed, like it never occurred. Her reaction wasn't mere annoyance, it was a plea for justice. And it's not a one-time issue. We've analyzed countless clips, players getting hammered midair on drives, jerseys being tugged with full force, and the whistle, silent. But here's the irony. When someone finally pushes back, the refs rush in with a technical foul like it's clockwork. It's not about isolated misses anymore. It's a pattern, one that's impossible to ignore, one that could alter careers. And the silence? It's speaking volumes.
exclusive to one player or another. It's not the leagues being physical. The standard of refereeing is terrible. Like, it's embarrassing.
This is where things truly get unsettling, and you won't. Believe the numbers. Caitlyn Clark dropped 29 points and didn't shoot a single free throw. Meanwhile, Angel Reese attempted 30. And here's the twist. It wasn't even the regular season. These figures raise eyebrows, stir outrage, and have fans everywhere questioning what's really going on behind the scenes.
How is that possible?
What we're witnessing is more than bad refereeing. It's a systemic failure that puts players at risk and destroys league credibility.
Preseason, 29 points with 0 free throw attempts. What is happening?
Clark gets battered every time she attacks the rim. In one brutal third-quarter sequence, 3 defenders converged, slamming into her arms, knocking her midair, and crashing into her body during a reverse layup. The contact was obvious, and it's happening constantly. But the referees, they freeze, whistles in hand, unmoved. Some argue it's rookie treatment, but the stats tell another story. Angel Reese earned 30 free throws in the offseason, while Clark had 0. That's not random, it's revealing. It begs the question, are we witnessing bias in plain sight? Because game after game, foul after foul, the pattern grows more undeniable. And every missed call chips away at the very foundation of fair play in professional sports.
Anybody remember special whistle? They must have a special whistle. Anybody remember that? Well, a special whistle indeed.
This isn't bad luck. It's a recurring injustice. Game after game, I've counted at least a dozen blatant fouls against Clark that are completely ignored. The referees, sometimes just feet away, watch her get slammed, tugged, and hacked, but don't move an inch. It's like they're surveillance cameras, present, but powerless. And as one of the league's brightest new stars keeps taking blow after blow, the silence from the whistle is deafening. The officials are letting it happen, and that quiet approval sends a loud message. Star status doesn't guarantee safety. In this league,
when I was doing the Angel Reese video this morning, I noticed somebody had pointed out how many frickin' free throw attempts she's had. I think it's 30 in the preseason. Caitlyn Clark hadn't gotten one damn foul called in her favor that would have put her to the line. Are you kidding me right now? I don't understand what is going on.
This isn't just unfair. It's reckless. If Caitlyn Clark suffers an injury because referees won't step in, the damage won't end with her. The league could lose millions in endorsements, sponsorships, and broadcast deals. Clark is the reason a wave of new fans are tuning in. She's a game changer. But without protection, all that momentum could vanish overnight. An injury wouldn't just derail her journey, it could halt the WNBA's rise. The cost of inaction? Devastating. And yet officials keep playing with fire, one missed call at a time.
The face of the league and can't get a single whistle. I mean, what is going on here? Seriously.
The NBA would never let its stars be treated like this. Picture LeBron James driving to the rim 15 times with 0 foul shots, or Stephen Curry getting pulled and shoved without a single whistle. Even players like Jokic face physicality, but they get calls. In the NBA, stars are shielded. But here in the WNBA, Caitlin Clark endures constant punishing contact. It's as if defenders have free rein, and the officials, they just let it ride. The contrast is staggering, and it's time people start noticing.
I just hope she doesn't get injured by all these fouls. She's already injured. Well, we've talked about that, right? In the past, we've talked about that. Boy, how devastating any injury that gets her actually taken out of a regular season game. How much money in loss is that for the league?
Here's the twist. Referees suddenly rediscover their whistles the moment Clark shows any emotion. They miss 4 arms hacking her during a layup, but spot an eye roll from across the court. That kind of imbalance changes the entire landscape. Teams study film and learn a cruel truth. They can target Clark with force and walk away untouched. So it escalates. Jersey grabs, shoves during cuts, hits on shots, all ignored. But let Clark make a simple hand check on defense and the whistle pierces the air. It's not just bias, it's rewriting the rules in real time. And everyone's watching it happen.
Any injury that gets her actually taken out of a regular season game, how much money in loss is that for the league? All right. I mean, advertiser revenue, et cetera, et cetera. One game, her being able to play in one game is huge.
The WNBA must act before something irreversible happens. Caitlin Clark is pulling in historic ratings and capturing national attention like never before. But if officiating continues this way, she could be seriously hurt or lose heart. And if she walks away, the momentum walks with her. The league can't afford to lose its brightest spark to referee neglect. It's time for accountability, consistency, and real protection. Because without it, the damage won't just be physical. It'll strike at the core of everything the WNBA is building.
You cannot disvalue her ability to be available for every game healthy. Seriously.
Let's go back to a preseason matchup, Atlanta Dream versus Indiana Fever, where Caitlin Clark took a direct blow to the head. I was stunned. She turned to the official, tapped her forehead, signaling clearly. Did you not see that? And the ref? Nothing. No whistle, no explanation. Just blank stares like the hit didn't even occur. How can that be real? A headshot in open view, and the officials respond with silence. In a sport where safety should be sacred, that kind of negligence isn't just alarming, it's outrageous. And it keeps happening. Interview 11, 79 words. What happened next was hard to believe. Pow Pow yanked Caitlin Clark's jersey with both hands, right in front of the refs. Zero attempt to be subtle. It looked like something out of a wrestling match, with both hands gripping and pulling as if she wanted to rip the fabric off. And the officials? Not even a flinch. No whistle, no foul, nothing. Just frozen expressions, as if they didn't see one of the most obvious infractions ever played out right before their eyes.
Like, it was really, really bad watching the game yesterday, and it happens always. Like, you've got fans complaining about Caitlin Clark pushing off, but then they're like using the Pow Pow clip, and they're like, "Oh, look at her pushing off here. She's like that's awful. Just watching her push off." But I'm like, Pow Pow's literally holding her, 2 hands holding her jersey.
Clark's not the only one being targeted. Dana Bonner went up for a smooth layup and got drilled in the back midair. Everyone watching, fans, coaches, even TV commentators, saw it in real time. But the 3 referees on the court? They missed everything. No call, no stoppage, nothing. She flew forward from the shove, slammed down hard, and the officials didn't blink. It's hard to call that a mistake when it keeps happening with such consistency.
He fouled her before Caitlin Clark did the push-off. A lot of people like to say, oh, this is just a physical league, until it comes to Caitlin Clark.
Aaliyah Boston, on the other hand, faces the complete opposite situation. The moment she makes the slightest contact, barely brushing against someone, the whistle blows. But if defenders come crashing into her, swing at her arms, or shove her under the rim, the refs look away. It's a maddening double standard. Fans can't understand it, players feel betrayed, and the inconsistency is destroying the trust that should exist between the court and the officiating crew.
DeWanna Bonner also gets fouled. It is not called. That definitely should have been called. And I mean, I don't know. And the Indiana Fever don't have the best whistle. They didn't have a good whistle last season. I thought the whistle would definitely get better because everyone is putting the refs on notice.
That 1 quarter told. The whole story. 4 or 5 blatant fouls that somehow weren't called. Drives to the basket turned into body slams. Arms were smacked on jumpers, and there wasn't a whistle in sight. These weren't borderline calls or hard-to-see moments. They were so obvious that even casual fans could have spotted them. And yet, time after time, the refs refused to blow the whistle. Why?
Boston. How many fans? Every time Aaliyah Boston in that first quarter missed an open layup, she got called for a foul. I don't know how. I don't know where this whistle was. I don't know what happened, because they went from calling every little thing that may or may not have been a foul to letting away hacks in the same game, in the same half of it.
Right now, officiating in the WNBA is shockingly poor. I've seen high school referees deliver more consistent performances. What's even more maddening is how unpredictable the whistles are. One play, a defender gets called for touching a wrist. The next, someone gets elbowed and nothing happens. It all depends on which player is involved. This shifting standard leaves players guessing, and guessing in professional sports leads to chaos, injuries, and a complete breakdown of the competitive spirit the league depends on.
Double hand check the whole way down the floor. They were just grabbing her jersey. It wasn't even hand checking, they were just grabbing her jersey. There are freedom of movement rules. And then Ryan Howard plows through Caitlin. Caitlin goes up straight. Like, no call. Or sorry, foul on Caitlin. And then I saw other times where players were literally just hacking and getting away with it. Genuinely hacking.
Just watch the body language. It says everything. Players can't hide their disbelief after another missed foul. They stare down refs, throw up their arms, shake their heads, and try to explain what just happened. But the response from officials is always the same. Blank stares and no whistles. These aren't minor oversights anymore. With each ignored foul, tensions rise and tempers boil. And more dangerously, the physical play increases. Someone's going to get seriously hurt if this continues. And when that happens, it won't just be a tragedy, it'll be a scandal. The league must act now, not after an injury headlines every sports outlet. Protection can't wait. Because without it, the WNBA puts its own stars at serious risk.
In the same half, the referees led away 4 to 5 hacks. Again, not fouls like, we're trying to stop you from scoring, let's hack. They led away multiple of them while calling fouls where no one touched anyone.
This has been a brewing storm, not a new development. Go back to last year. Kennedy Carter literally hip-checked Caitlin Clark at mid-court. It wasn't just physical. It came with an insult shouting B-word as if she was in a street fight. The entire arena heard it. The cameras caught it. And what did the referees decide? Nothing. No flagrant, not even a personal foul. They let the game continue like nothing happened. That silence from officials spoke volumes. Physical targeting of certain players, even violent gestures, could go unchecked if no one made a scene.
Do you think that they have to pay extra attention and definitely make sure when there's a foul that it is called?
And that wasn't the only time. Last season, Marina McRae decked Clark during a critical playoff layup attempt. She wasn't contesting the shot. She hit her squarely and hard. The whole crowd gasped, expecting an obvious flagrant. But the refs, they ignored it. In the same game, Diamond DeShields committed 2 brutal flagrant-level fouls. Again, no consequences. It became crystal clear. If you played physically against Clark, you likely wouldn't face discipline. That's not just oversight. It's a dangerous precedent. It invites reckless defense and leaves top-tier athletes vulnerable when the stakes are highest. It shouldn't be acceptable.
I mean, that's clearly a foul which was called. The question is, will they call it Unnecessary. Kennedy Carter.
This year, it's even worse. Clark drives into the lane and defenders just crash into her, arms flying, shoulders slamming, hands grabbing, but the refs stare right through it. It's not an accident anymore. When something happens this frequently, it's a trend. The whistle seems broken whenever Clark is involved. This isn't about one bad game. It's about a mounting issue that's putting both fairness and safety at serious risk.
Because there was also a stat that came out a few weeks ago that said Caitlin Clark received 17% of the WNBA's flagrant fouls this season, and 80% of those flagrant fouls were committed by the Chicago Sky against Caitlin Clark. Now, this one that we see right here that I believe should have been a flagrant foul was not called that. So there have been cheap shots, there have been hard fouls, there have been other plays that haven't even been called flagrant fouls. But when you have the face of your league getting nearly 20% of all flagrant fouls called against her, that is an issue. And that's not just an issue that the players have to work out. That is from top down. That goes to the commissioner level. Like, that is the level that needs to control these kinds of things.
What's wild is how quickly the referees pounce when Clark shows the slightest emotion. In a game against the Fever, she got smacked on a drive and barely reacted. Just a look of disbelief. And instantly, they gave her a technical foul. No warning, no leniency. It's baffling. The same refs who miss body checks and slapdowns catch every eyebrow raise and frustrated glance. That contrast encourages opponents to go even harder. They see they'll be protected no matter what, while Clark has to tiptoe emotionally. She's playing under a different set of rules, and that's not just unfair, it's dangerous.
So many clips, like, there's no point showing individual clips. Like, even in the playoffs last year, do we not remember when Caitlin Clark is shooting a layup and she's in the air and Marina Mabrey commits a block, a hit on the arm, a blocking foul, like a whatever hit on the arm foul, everything. She just comes late and is like, Caitlin's not getting a layup. Jumps sideways into her, takes her arms out, knocks Caitlin on the ground, and then stops because she knows she's fouled, and the referees are like, play on, play on.
What makes this all worse is the league's silence. After everything Clark endured last year, you'd expect officials to be told, protect your stars. Instead, the opposite seems true. The aggression against her has ramped up. No guidance from the league, no accountability for officials. And Clark? She's left to fend for herself on every drive. For someone bringing so much attention, so many fans, she deserves better. The league has a superstar, and yet they're standing by while she takes hit after hit.
Compared to the NBA, superstars are going to get a special whistle, and they should get a special whistle. Do you know why? Because at the end of the day, it's not just the sport, it's the entertainment of the sport, and you need to protect your superstars. And the WNBA has not done well this entire season of protecting their one superstar who brought in more eyeballs than anyone else has ever done in the league. She should have a special whistle. Calls like this should be made, should be reviewed. People should know right off the bat, it shouldn't be the first round of the playoffs that players think that they can still do this kind of thing to Caitlin Clark.
Even with headlines blasting these issues, the officials don't change. Game after game, Clark is targeted and nothing happens. It makes you question whether safety and fairness are truly priorities in this league. When repeated physical abuse is met with apathy, it's not a stretch to say a player's career could be jeopardized. This isn't about missed calls anymore. It's about what the league is willing to allow, and what they're allowing now. It risks everything: player trust, fan loyalty, and the integrity of the sport itself.
You see compilations of them online. Not cracking down on these are going to turn people off to watching the WNBA, and it's not going to allow the league to grow and people to be more excited in players other than Caitlin Clark. People want to see a fast-paced, high-scoring, long-range shooting game from these women.
By ignoring repeated fouls on Clark and others, the WNBA is gambling with its own future. They're letting players be hit, pulled, and shoved, while the officials look the other way. That kind of negligence doesn't just hurt athletes, it erodes the very foundation of the league. Fans tune in for fair competition, but if every game becomes a chaotic mess where stars can be assaulted with no consequences, interest fades, ratings drop, ticket sales dip, trust disappears. Atlanta Dream's aggressive strategy didn't earn them a win, but the officiating might cause a loss, far more damaging. The league can't afford to lose its audience or its players. It's time for real change before it's too late.